Choices, chances, dreams and goals. Many mixed emotions in my heart and soul. For some I made a plan and did the best I can. If God wills, things can happen. After all, I'm just a man. Choices, chances, dreams and goals. Many mixed emotions in my heart and soul. For some I made a plan and did the best I can. If God wills, things can happen. After all, I'm just a man.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear brothers and sisters everywhere in the world watching us in a new episode of Life Choices. Our tonight episode is new, unique and different, as we are taking an example in making our lives as Muslims in the whole world, for the whole Ummah, different. But before we start in our new episode, I'd like to welcome my dear guests, our expert in human resources, Mr. Ahmed Afifi. Welcome to a new episode of Life Choices.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi. Welcome with us.
Thank you.
And the friend of our show, Mr. Abdullah.
Thank you for having me again.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you to have you on the show. It's an honor.
My pleasure.
And we'll have Mr. Ahmed, our friend of the show. Unfortunately, he has some troubles in entering to the show, but he might be with us after the break. So, starting with the title or the theme of tonight's episode, Omar ibn Al-Khattab. I would like to start it with a question. What is the status of the Ummah nowadays? Actually, what is the status of the Ummah compared with Omar's time? Actually, the question could be what happened to the Ummah, right? Omar ibn Al-Khattab, who made the Islamic world, he created the Islamic world, and instead of tribes to countries, from Egypt to Azerbaijan. Omar ibn Al-Khattab was the first one who made the economy of the Islamic world at its best, and it never happened again till now. Did we follow Omar's steps? Did we take his ideas and we built upon? Unfortunately, no. But there is always a hope in everyone, every Muslim, as long as on earth there is someone is saying there is only one God and Muhammad is his prophet. Of course, there is a hope. And for people who doesn't know the ideas or the concepts of Omar that will be discussed in tonight's and more later episodes. Also, we cannot copy Omar. We cannot take it copy and paste because it's different time, different people. But we take the essence, the soul of his ideas and aspects of life. We hope the material we provide you that would make everyone just 1% of Omar. Because the great Omar, if we have one in these days, the Islamic Ummah will be totally different, 100% to the better. Because actually, these days compared to Omar's, when I read and search what Omar did and how the Ummah was compared to now, I'm not happy at all. We are all Muslims, should do more, and should be inspired by Omar, by his steps. Because we cannot go for dawah and just focusing worshipping Allah and that's it. Parts of worshipping Allah is to build, is to improve. It's for the society, for the humanity. So, before we go more and further discussion about Omar, this episode will be as an introduction about Omar, but more topics, detailed topics like leadership, communication, economics, inspired by Omar will be discussed in further episodes. Actually, before we start with the question, we'll go for a very short break. Please don't go anywhere, and we'll come back soon.
Let's start from where they started. Who are they? The companions of the Prophet ﷺ. When they started learning the religion of Islam, they started with the aqidah, the belief system, faith. Brothers and sisters in Islam, dear viewers, the Prophet ﷺ spent 13 years in Mecca teaching that generation the belief system, the aqidah. Aisha radiallahu anha confirms this by saying, the first things which were revealed from the Quran was matters of aqidah. Who is Allah? Jannah, paradise and hell. Jundub ibn Abdullah al-Bajali, may Allah be pleased with him, said, we learned the belief system, we learned the iman, we learned the aqidah, then we learn the Quran. Brothers and sisters in Islam, nowadays, a lot of our cultural practices, a lot of our societal norms are against our belief system. And the reason why we're falling into this, because we did not start from where they started.
Your questions and comments mean a lot to Huda TV crew, so please don't hesitate to contact us on social media. On Facebook, www.facebook.com/huda.tv. On YouTube, www.youtube.com/hudatv. On Twitter, @Huda TV channel. And on our official website, www.huda.tv. You can watch Huda TV on the Nilesat on the following parameters. Frequency 11747. Huda TV is also now available for broadcast on the Galaxy 19 satellite in the United States of America on the following parameters. Satellite Galaxy 19, frequency 12184.
Welcome back, our audience, for Life Choices and our topic tonight, Omar ibn Al-Khattab radiallahu anhu. Before we start, I'd like to welcome our guest and friend of the show, Mr. Ahmed. Welcome.
Thank you. Welcome.
So,
Thank you.
good to have you. Late, but good to have you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And concerning, starting with the question, actually, I see the utilization and how genius was Omar in utilizing all the resources that he had, even in tough times. And actually, I'd like to start with a question to our expert, Mr. Ahmed Afifi, concerning the leadership, because I see, in my opinion, leadership represents the backbone for the Ummah. And we used to have great leaders.
Yes.
Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
Yes.
Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, Umar ibn al-Khattab, Ali, Uthman ibn Affan,
Yes.
Umar ibn Abdul Aziz radiallahu anhu jami'an.
Yes.
And concerning the leadership, because I see the leadership is the engine for
Yes.
everything.
Yes.
And speaking of the aspects of leadership of Omar, what do you see and what our audience could be inspired and learn from Omar in terms of his leadership?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. First of all, if you're talking about Sayyidina Umar radiallahu
Radiallahu
anhu, you're talking about the father of management in the
Yes.
Islamic world.
Mhm.
And actually, if we're talking about leadership, he took the Ummah in a very tough time, and they were starting. Sayyidina Abu Bakr actually sent the armies to start to introduce Islam and to start fighting the biggest two empires on earth back then, the Byzantine Empire in the west and the Eastern Persian Empire.
That's correct.
And during that time, he faced, Sayyidina Abu Bakr died, and he was the one who became the leader.
Yeah, he became the Khalif.
So he became the Khalifa and Amir al-Mu'mineen, and the problem was that he had to face different people with different thinking and different minds.
Different cultures.
Yes, and different men.
Yeah.
So if we look at the leadership, what is the difference? We have to look between the difference between a leader and a manager or a boss.
Correct.
And the difference between them is that a leader would actually pull back his sleeves and start working with the people. On the other hand, the boss would be sitting back, using a whip, shouting, "Work, I want work to be
Giving
done."
orders.
Yeah.
So this was the difference. And this is what Sayyidina Omar did. He joined the people in every little aspect.
And sorry for interruption, but this is what we call nowadays leadership by example.
Yes.
He
Which
went
is
himself,
leadership by example. Yes.
and I remember, because I'm a Ramad, the people were starving,
Yes.
and he didn't eat but just bread and oil,
Yes.
to the extent that the color of his skin changed,
Changed. Yes. Became black.
became dark.
Very, very, very dark. Yes.
And I see, and I remember that what he said and written in books, he said that how come I will feel the suffering of the Ummah without I experience it?
Yes.
And this is what we don't see these days.
Yes.
Most of the leaders, sometimes you have war, you have civil war, you have protests, you have kind of troubles, but where are the leaders?
Yes.
We live in palace.
Yes. And this is one of the problems. Actually, if you look at leadership, we look a little at the leadership styles. And we have, for example, the easiest leadership style is the Lewin's leadership. Lewin's leadership said that the leaders are divided into three. Number one is the autocrats, then the democratic,
Yeah,
and then the laissez-faire.
yes,
Okay? The autocratic, the first one, is the dictator. He does not take the opinion of anyone. Okay? Then there is the democratic, who has people around him, and he asks them, "What do you think? What should we do?" And they give him the idea. He thinks about it, and he does it. Okay? The last thing is the laissez-faire, where the person, as the leader, he takes a step back, and he lets all the people under him do the work. And the most important thing, the little ones must have the time management and the control. If they don't have that, the leader will lose. The only thing that he has is like, he's consulting them. You know, you can do this, you can do that. I can help you with this.
yeah.
And this is it. With Sayyidina Omar, he used the first two, but 80% he was democratic. Even though during that time, if you look at the empires, they were all autocratic.
Yes.
And he used that for 80%. The only time he used the autocratic or being a dictator was during the year of the gray, or Am al-Ramada, where everybody became very, very, very sick and they didn't find any food. They called it Am al-Ramada because the sand turned into gray because they didn't find, there was no rain whatsoever. And during that time, he had to become the dictator because he had to take the decision.
Yes.
And he ordered the person's, the leader in Basra, the mayor in Basra, to send them the food. At the same
a boat
time,
full of food, yeah.
yes, and the same thing with Damascus.
Yes.
And Egypt as well.
And
when
Egypt, yes.
And
And
Egypt,
yes.
And
And they sent all this food. This was direct in
Yes.
dictatorship.
It was direct
And
order.
dictator. This was a dictatorship. Okay.
This is
But
sometimes
this
when
is-
dictatorship
Yes,
is in the favor of the people.
Yes, it's needed.
Yes.
It's a must. Okay. On the other hand, the democratic, and this was 80%, as I said, of what he had or said or used. was used most of the time, including when the plague happened in Damascus, in Palestine, Jordan, etc., and even Sayyidina Abu Ubaidah ibn al-Jarrah died in it. During that time, he asked Sayyidina Ali and he asked Sayyidina Osman, okay, what do we do? And they told him, some people told him, we should pull the armies from out of there. And the other said no. Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that if a plague hits a place, you cannot let the people in or out. They stay as they are until the plague is gone or the people are cured. And he had to let them go until, because he ordered Sayyidina Abu Ubaidah to come back to Medina, and he refused. When he refused, he knew that the plague reached the leader himself over there, and he reached everybody. So this was being democratic. And he asked the people around him. The same thing when he entered Jerusalem. He asked also Sayyidina Ali and Sayyidina Osman. He asked them, what do I do? The leader of Jerusalem, the king over there, said that I want your prince to come and meet me himself. I will not surrender. So Sayyidina Osman said, no, we will wait till he totally surrenders. Sayyidina Ali said, no, we show him the right that the Muslims are peaceful people, and you go meet them yourself. And later he did go himself and meet with the king of Jerusalem, and they surrendered Jerusalem to the Muslims.
And when I read in the history of Omar radiallahu anhu, when he entered Jerusalem, he kept all the rights, and they were astonished how they entered Jerusalem, and they had all the rights to do anything, but because of Islam as the religion of everything good on earth, he gave them all the rights. And I see that this is kind of leadership, strong leadership as well, because when you are capable, but at the same time you are merciful. And you never, even when you have power, because sometimes power, when it's in a human being, we change. When you have power, sometimes you have an evil side of it, if you are a good person. But the blessing of Omar, that he controlled it. Even when you have power, you never forget the message of Islam, because the message was in his blood. This is what I see. Also, concerning all the leadership styles you have mentioned, these days we read and hear about lots of leadership styles and what is the style of each leader, and there are tests to describe what is your leadership. But the old doctors in the world, they agreed that there is no fixed style for all situations and everyone. This is why the situational leadership model these days is the most successful, which Omar did hundreds of years ago. So we have real examples. We have Omar. The situational leadership as a term is new. While we already have Omar hundreds of years ago. So this in terms of leadership. And getting back to our guests, concerning leadership, what do you experience when you have a manager or someone above you?
Well, it's a kind of, you are in pressure that you have to do the right thing, or something. You may have a problem with your boss or with your manager.
This is a manager, is not a leader.
Yes, but I'd like to add a point to my to Professor Ahmed. Yes, Umar radiallahu anhu, he was a dictator, but he was a wise dictator. And when we speak about his opinions, that he took his opinion personally without any kind of consultation in two situations, and so wisely, he wasn't supposed to take anyone's opinion. The situation when Amr ibn al-As radiallahu anhu, when he was the ruler of Egypt, and the problem between
the
Jew, Amr's son, and the Jew. So when the Jew's father, when the son's father,
I believe it was a Coptic, an Egyptian Coptic. So
it was a Coptic, an Egyptian Coptic who had a problem with Omar's son, and he went to Omar ibn al-Khattab and he said, take the stick and whip him in front
yes, and he
of him.
He was so severe with Amr.
Yes, because this is the right. Because this is al-haq.
Yes.
This is justice.
Yes,
the al-adl.
exactly.
You know, Ahmed, because concerning with this, so, and what Dr. Ahmed said, was not a dictator, he was a real leader, because sometimes you have to be dictator or people will suffer, like Year of the Grain.
Yes.
You know what? And this is something that you, Mr. Ahmed, would really know about.
Yes.
You know, when people in the company, they do some like strategy meetings or annual meetings to review what already happened in the company.
Yes.
When is the time that most of Muslims in the world, they gather together in one place?
During Hajj.
During Hajj.
Yes.
All right. So nowadays, Muslims, they go to the Hajj, they do Hajj and they come back.
Mm.
Do you know what Omar turned Hajj to be? It was questioning people under him in front of most of the Muslims in the Islamic world.
Mm.
He turned Hajj to be a meeting for the whole Ummah.
Yes.
And he said his famous sentence, for everyone, I didn't send my people who were under him, like Amr ibn As, to make you suffer, but to make your life better.
Better.
Mm.
Yes.
And my message to you, and why I'm there, to apply justice.
Yes.
And literally, he said, وَإِنَّمَا رَحْمَةٌ وَعَدْلٌ وَخَيْرٌ.
Yes.
It was the good for everyone. And he said his famous sentence, who has a problem with any one of people under me, just to raise his problem now, and I would like to apply justice for him now. So this is what Omar did. He
Yes.
applied justice. And this is for our audience. You have to think and apply justice in every aspect of your life. Not just get inspired by Omar, and after we know about Omar, but we come to apply and day-to-day activities and try to apply what we want, we will find difficulty, yes. But the key or the backbone, I see, is justice. For everyone, not for all, not only for Muslims. And this is what we see what Omar did, even with
Yes.
non-Muslims, right?
Yes, and that's how the Roman soldier gave his opinion about him, that you were fair, then you became safe, and then you slept.
Yes.
Omar. Yes.
عدلت فأمنت فنمت يا
Yes.
عمر.
Yes,
Right?
and you can
Yeah.
say that Omar was another copy of the Prophet. That the Prophet says, if someone is
Sallallahu
supposed to
alayhi
have the prophecy or to be a prophet after me, it would
To be
you.
Caliph,
Omar.
not a prophet,
Yes.
to be Caliph.
It would be you, Omar.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is why, because Omar was a genius, and I'll tell you why Omar ibn al-Khattab became Omar ibn al-Khattab, we know about. But before this, we'd like to have opinions of Mr. Abdullah.
About Sayyidina Umar leadership.
Yes, concerning the leadership.
Yes, I would just say, as a comment of Professor Afifi, that Sayyidina Umar take the leadership of the Ummah in a very critical situation.
Yes, and this is
Sayyidina-
what differentiates between a real leader and not. The
Yes.
critical situations are the real indicator.
Yes, exactly. They just give us the pure true leader or not.
Mhm.
Because Sayyidina Abu Bakr, after the Prophet death, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Sayyidina Abu Bakr took it only like 2 years.
Mhm.
And 2 years, he took the Ummah in a very critical situation when most of the people were trying to get out of religion.
Yes.
They just entered the religion when the Prophet was there, and they couldn't
Sallallahu
just
Alaihi Wasallam.
fight
Mhm.
the Prophet's presence leading the Ummah. So they thought by themselves, once now the Prophet is dead, we can go back to ourselves. We can just not to give zakat, not to pray, do whatever you want.
Not to apply
because
Islam.
the true leader of the Ummah, if it is the Prophet, okay, he's now dead. We can do whatever you want. Sayyidina Abu Bakr, when he took the responsibility to lead the Ummah again, it was only for 2 years.
Mhm.
So Sayyidina Umar take it in a very critical situation, and he started really, if you can say, the foundation of the Ummah right now. He was Umar who started it.
Yes.
Yes.
To spread Islam in many places like Egypt, Asia, Europe,
Yes. He
And
went till Azerbaijan.
Yes.
the Far East
Yes.
in Asia, exactly. So he took this kind of leadership, and we can say that he's a kind of comprehensive leadership.
Yes.
He knows about, as you mentioned, like about economy, about management, about fiqh. He knows the knowledge of the Islamic.
Yes.
So when it comes to something related to the pure religious matters, he can do so. When it comes to something to the economy, he would ask people. I remember he's the one who made the diwan, which is there is the Bayt al-Muslimin, the house of Muslim dads, and he made the something about when a new infant is born, that we should give her mother something to do. So he was thinking about social, economical, leadership,
all aspects of life.
All aspects. So kind of comprehensive, and this kind of comprehensive leadership is what the successor of Umar, like Uthman and Ali, and people started to do, to follow the steps of Umar.
Yes.
And that's why the Ummah was on the peak of its, we can say, renaissance and success and achievement of that.
Actually, I see, Abdullah, when I review the economic history of Ummah, the peak was during Umar.
Exactly.
Compared what? Not the peak to have more money in the House of Money or Bayt al-Mal, but comparing to openings already was making this time, which are the costs they were investing for the openings, compared to what already the Muslims had, were its peak. Maybe we find some richer times, like Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, but compared of the expenses of the openings, compared to the economic situation, status of the Ummah, it was the best and didn't happen. Actually, I see that Omar, radiallahu anhu, built civilization, real civilization, turning from just tribes, Islamic tribes, into real countries. At his time, the Islamic Ummah defeated the Byzantine and the Persian. The most powerful two nations at this time. And they were real harsh armies, not just tribes. This is what I see in Umar. But actually, and this is, I see it's the base or the background. What made Umar ibn Al-Khattab that we know nowadays? What did he do? Even before he enters the Islam. Umar, in the beginning, he applied justice, even when he was not a Muslim, before entering the Islam. Was applying justice. He never cheated on anyone, and he already refused cheating. And there is this famous accident when he went to Jordan, and the merchant from Jordan asked Omar to sell him silk, because Omar was a merchant in silk. And the one who already working in commercing silk should be very punctual, very critical, very understanding. So it was a very difficult business. So this merchant asked him, Omar, let me buy all the silk you have, and all what your friends who came with you in the caravan, for a certain price. And this would be very good for you. You already sold all your goods, and you can go home back early with good amount of money. Actually, on the business side, this is very beneficial, right? But look at Omar. He said, never, because I cannot cheat my friends. I cannot cheat your people. And when the merchant said, what's wrong with you? What's your problem with my people? They are not yours. He said, I never accept injustice for everyone anywhere. And he was not yet a Muslim. Omar, in the beginning of his life, he was taking care of the camels. And one day his brother Zayd asked him, what are you doing, Omar, in the desert? Omar said, desert, clearing man's mind. And even at night, what are you doing, Omar? I'm thinking about what is right and what is wrong in this life. Omar, when he was young, thinking of this. And this is what made the essence of Omar. This is why one of his names called Al-Faruq.
He can differentiate.
Can differentiate between the right and the wrong.
The wrong, yes.
إذا يفرق ما بين الحق والباطل. This is why he called Al-Faruq. So Omar is being built, made. Not suddenly we had Omar,
Yes.
but because he had it in his heart.
Mm.
Even if when he was Muslim, he was thinking of what is right and what is wrong. And this is what made Umar ibn al-Khattab
Today's Umar.
anhu, that we know nowadays. And that we wish that only one single individual in the Ummah that have 1%
Of
of Omar's
wiseness.
wiseness and everything.
Yes.
The whole Ummah will be 100% different to the better.
Yes, and
Right?
I'd like to add some piece of information
Sure,
about
go ahead.
Al-Faruq radiallahu anhu. In his book, Michael Hart, The Greatest 100 in
Yes.
History of Humanity, Umar was one of them.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
If you
Yes.
if you take a look at the book, you'll find him. I think it was number 9 or number 10 or something.
Yes.
Mhm.
He was in the top 10.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that's
You
that's
know
how
what,
it
Ahmed?
claims, you know.
He got
Yes.
raised by Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam,
Yes. Yes.
Sayyid al-Khalq. So, actually, sometimes I envy them. They got everything right and correct in life. This is why they are leaders and examples, even after hundreds of years. Now, we wish that we have followed their steps.
Yes,
Right.
that's because he applied the hadith of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam.
Alayhi salatu wasalam. Tell us,
He
please.
said the base on justice. He said the basics of the Islamic State on justice, and he applied the Prophet's hadith that all people are like the teeth of the comb.
Yes.
That there's no one is different from the other. They're all on the same
Same
the
level.
Yes,
same
very
level.
cool. And I remember that one of his sayings was, إنما لا أبتغي فيكم غير العدل. My
Yes.
only problem is to apply justice.
Yeah.
Because by justice, we can build real Ummah.
Yes.
So more again about Umar ibn al-Khattab will be further discussed with our guests and our expert, Mr. Afifi. After a short break, please don't go anywhere, and please would like to have your enters and enter the show by your calls that on the numbers displayed on the screen. And please don't go anywhere. We'll be get back shortly. Thank you.
رسول الله حبيب الله Allah our God is the greatest, the one and only glory to him. He wanted humans to be the best and give his best religion to them. Allah our God is the greatest, the one and only glory to him. He wanted humans.
Al-Imam al-Nawawi, may Allah have mercy on him, have indeed did a great and a tremendous job in compiling some of the most beautiful ahadith and relevant ayat in one of his marvelous works, which is known as Riyadus Salihin, or Gardens of the Pious. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us all amongst the dwellers of Gardens of the Pious. Jannat al-Na'im. Allahumma ameen.
Humans to be the best and give his best religion to them. Rasul Allah, Habib Allah. Allah our God is the greatest, the one and only glory to him.
TV commercials motivate viewers into immediate action and to sway consumer loyalty from one brand or service to the other. That's why we're here for you, to help you sell your products and services by using creative ideas that bring life into your own TV commercial. Advertise your business and branded products and services on Huda TV. We will offer you fast-paced and energetic 30-second affordable TV spots. Advertise on Huda TV. Acquire fresh customers and stay within your budget. For more info or to receive a quote, please send your inquiries to advert@Huda TV. Huda TV.
Since Huda TV first launched in 2005, the channel has been striving to extend its broadcast to cover every corner of the globe. We're already live through satellite in the Middle East, parts of Europe and Africa, and via web streaming around the globe. Today, Huda TV is pleased to offer glad tidings to its viewers in the United States of America. Huda TV is now available for broadcast on the Galaxy 19 satellite on the following parameters. Satellite, Galaxy 19 at 97 degrees west. Transporter, 28. Frequency, 12184. Polarization, horizontal. FEC, 3/4. SR 22000. We're thankful to Allah that Huda TV's English programming is now available to all our viewers in America. And we promise you to bring you more upscale productions day by day. Tune in to Huda TV on Galaxy 19 right now. Huda TV, a light in every home.
Welcome back, dear brothers and sisters, from our new episode about Omar. And getting back after the break, would like to have your interest concerning tonight's topic. On the telephones displayed on the screen, I would like also to have you on our social media on Facebook and YouTube. Getting back again, and with a question to Mr. Afifi.
Yes.
Actually, I see that what could our audience learn from Omar's lessons that would serve the Ummah in their day-to-day life and activities? Because our life are formed by day-to-day actions and interactions. Implementation of the soul of Islam and our method, the Holy Quran, through what we deal with people in every day.
Yes.
So what lessons from Omar could serve the Ummah in their day-to-day activities?
First of all, responsibility.
Responsibility.
Yes, which is not an easy task. Responsibility, if you take it, you must really take care of it. Because if you don't use it right, the people around you will suffer. And you will suffer. Second of all, time management.
Before, sorry for interruption, but
yes,
before we go to time management, concerning responsibility.
Yes.
Responsibility from a father. Father is responsible for his family, for his kids.
Yes.
Brother, responsible for his brothers. And not only family members, Muslim brothers. Responsible for everyone, responsible for your actions. And as we said before, because every Muslim is an ambassador to Islam. Everyone.
Yes.
Correct?
Plus, not just this, not just families. Man is responsible for his wife and kids. Wife is responsible for her husband and kids.
Yes.
Okay?
It's mutual.
Mutual.
Yes.
Okay, this is the family. Let's look at what else. The manager. The manager is responsible for whomever is under him.
The subordinates, yes.
Very important. Okay? Same thing with the school. The teacher is responsible for the students.
Definitely.
The principal is responsible for the teachers.
Yes.
Okay? Another thing is government. So, in the past, if you look at the Muslims, if you look at Omar himself, radiallahu anhu, he did his best to escape from this, because this responsibility is great.
Yes.
If you have one person under you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask you about him.
Yes.
He is responsible. Why didn't you do the right thing towards that person?
Yeah, not even just persons or human beings, because I know that one famous sentence by Omar.
Yes.
وتعثرت دابة
في العراق.
سئل عنها عمر.
Yes. Yes. So he was responsible for everything,
yes,
including
I would
this.
like just to say something, sorry for that, about this, because the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, they used, because the Prophet said, those one who looking for authority or power, to be like a governor or something like this, are the most people like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would ask them more question, are the most people that the temptation of power, the Prophet used to warn his companions from. Don't go for power.
Yes.
If somebody asked you to be responsible, okay, but don't ask for it. Don't go for it.
Yes, exactly.
So that's why the companion used to have this kind don't ask Umar that I want to be the governor of such a place. Don't don't go for it.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's why when Sayyidina Umar ibn Khattab used to ask one of the companions of the Prophet, I want to appoint you to be the ruler or the governor of Al-Basra or Asham or whatever. So the companion used to refuse to Umar, no Umar, I do not want. I want to be just a normal citizen.
It's
I
a
want to be
huge responsibility.
Yes. But when Umar kept hearing the same answer from many of the companions, he asked them, are you going to give the responsibility only upon me? I will never be alone. You should share this responsibility with me.
Yes.
You should be, I'll be asked. And when I go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I will tell him that I asked some one of you to help me in this moment, but he refused.
Yes.
So Umar even being responsible for that, to appoint the good person or the suitable person in such a place.
Yes.
And never went for it or looked for it.
Yes. Actually, concerning this, Abdullah, because I always hear a word from my mentor.
Yes.
Always told me the same. Ahmed, never seek power. Because the moment you will seek power,
Yes.
you will start to lose.
Yeah. You'll suffer.
You will suffer because this is something in the human beings. Because when you seek power, you just like the what are the benefits that the power will get you, and you start to forget what will you do with this, with all this power. Actually, because power is a responsibility. It's a huge responsibility.
Yes.
Sometimes it's a curse. It's not a gift.
Yes.
And it needs real tough people to carry.
Yeah.
It's like a big rock on your shoulders.
Yes. Yes.
So getting back again to what we could learn from Omar.
No.
So we said responsibility.
Yes. Second of
we're
all,
about to talk about time management.
time management. Time management is one of the most important things that Sayyidina Omar taught us, radiallahu anhu.
Life.
He used to work 18 hours in the 24 hours. Why? Because of the responsibility. Okay?
Okay.
So if you really look at it, he used to do the work himself. And he used to manage his time. First of all, prayer.
Yes.
He loved the prayer. Okay? All of this in time. Second, starting from Fajr prayer. Okay? He used to do all of his responsibilities toward the nation. Okay?
Sure.
And he used to divide his time. Today I'm going to sit with the people coming from Basra. Tomorrow I'm going to sit with the people coming from Jerusalem.
Sure.
And he does also the courts. He was responsible for the courts.
Yes,
And he yes.
So, sorry for interruption, but we're still in the era of the competency or the skill of the
Time
lesson of
management.
time management.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it is. And all of this, as I'm saying, the courts and the justice, all of this takes time.
Yes, of
So I'm
course.
saying all of this is under time management.
Yes.
Yes.
So he did a lot of things in one day.
Yes, of course.
He proved
and
that
it cannot be done but,
yes.
but by time management.
And another thing in time management, the Persian Empire fell in 2 years. You're talking about from Iran east
Yes.
up till Azerbaijan north and Iraq. Okay, so all of this was the Persian Empire, including parts of India.
Yes.
So all of this fell in 2 years. Okay,
So-
so this is time management.
So we speak that responsibility
Yes.
and time management.
Yes.
Okay. But before we go into another lesson or skill that our audience should learn from
Yes.
the history of Omar, we'd like to have our friend Mazhar Shaheen from Egypt. Hello, Mazhar.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum assalam wa barakatuh.
I would like to greet you for this topic today about Omar ibn Khattab, and I have a question regarding him. I'd like to ask about reformation. Does it start from the ruler or the people? Because here you focus much more on Omar as the leader, as the one who was, sometimes he was democratic, he wasn't. He was dictator at sometimes. So I think that most of the solutions come out of him because of his wise leadership. I might argue sometimes with people, and they tell me we should start by ourselves. We shouldn't like it, the leader or so. So like you two should on that. Second thing, it's just a hope. I wish your guests maybe at the end of this series to draw a chart and tell us about the positions of the ministers. What are their tasks and how can we apply that on the ground? Point number 3, Someone might talk about Omar ibn Khattab and say he's one of the companions of the Prophet, so his model is not applicable. I mean, one day I think Amr ibn al-As sent to him telling him that we have a problem with the river Nile, and then he decided to give him a letter. And then Omar actually told him his famous word that if you run by yourself, until the end of the talk. So here, maybe some people argue and say that the time of miracles finished. So I'd like also your guests to comment on that. Thanks very much. Thanks for listening to me. Appreciate it.
Sure. Thank you, Mazhar. Thank you for interfacing question. So actually, it's a very important question from our friend Mazhar.
Yes.
Because what already built the Ummah is not Omar as one individual.
Of course.
So in light of answering Mazhar for his first question, is it the responsibility on the leader or the ruler or on the people? I would like to go with it through a question that showed the geniusity of Omar.
Yes.
How did Omar utilize the human source, which are the people of the Ummah,
Yes.
in building the Ummah as we know at the time of Omar?
Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. This is going to take some time, but
Yes.
first of all, let's go back to Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, who had a vision about building. When you have a small company and you have a vision of growing that company, okay, 39 Muslims, including Sayyidina Hamza, okay, radiallahu anhu, who converted to Islam, and then after 3 days, Sayyidina Umar converted to Islam. Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam always said, please Allah, make us more powerful with one of the two Omars.
Yes.
Amr ibn Hisham, which was known as Abu Ghal, and Omar ibn al-Khattab, radiallahu anhu. And why did he... Yes, one of the two Omars. Yes. Why? Because both of them were from the nobles of Mecca. And he wanted more. Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam wanted more. Sayyidina Umar ibn al-Khattab.
Yes.
He felt it in his heart. He wanted this man to come into Islam. Why? They were very powerful and built. People respected them. And if these people go into Islam, more people will follow. Some people hid them being Islamic or being Muslim because they were afraid of Omar.
Yes.
And Amr. They were afraid of both. And Amr actually was Sayyidina Umar's uncle.
Yes.
Okay? So what happened is that Sayyidina Umar became a Muslim. So you hired the right guy.
Yeah.
Okay? He followed. He went to the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and he told him, are we supposed to work in darkness or everybody's supposed to know? So he declared it and all the Muslims followed him. And on the other hand was Sayyidina Hamza.
Yes.
And they moved around and they moved around the Kaaba. And they were walking in Mecca and saying that we are proud Muslims. And then this is how it started. Okay? You have a leader right there.
Yeah.
When you hire the right leader, the right employee, okay, and that guy is the small manager, suddenly when he becomes the owner or the big manager, okay, he starts to build. And this is what Sayyidina Umar did when the Islamic nation was built. Okay, he started to do.
I understood from this,
yes,
and in response to the question of Mazhar, that when you have the right leader,
yes,
the right people will follow and act.
Yes.
And this is when he orders something, they trust him, so they will do.
Yes.
So it is not only for the leader, it's for the leader and the people under him.
Yes.
But selection of the leader is the key here.
Yes.
So this is in question number 1 for Mazhar. And in question or explanation to the second point, he said, this is what the time of Umar, this is a different time, a time of miracles being raised by Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and it's not time of miracles anymore. I see, in my opinion,
yes,
that it is not just miracles because it happened in reality, what Umar did. And it was after the death of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So the responsibility was very tough.
Yes.
And I felt it when I was reading Umar's history, and this was years ago. I felt after the death of Sayyidina Muhammad ﷺ that everyone became alone. There was a protector, there was a leader, and he died.
Yes.
Actually, I felt sorry for them, but they carried the responsibility.
Yes.
They accepted it, and they started already to implement what they have been learned from Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So for you, Mazhar, it's not a different time. As I said in the beginning of the episode, yes, it's a different time not to copy and paste Omar, but to take the ideas, the soul of the ideas, and it is there. And concerning it's time of miracles and miracles are over, actually, I remember one word said by Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu when Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam died. He said, literally, من كان يعبد محمد فإن محمد قد مات ومن يعبد الله فإن الله حي لا يموت. It's always a chance and a miracle. Why? Because there is always God. And as long as there is always God, there is always miracles could be done. But the fuel of the miracle comes from here, as we said, supported by God. So it's like a message goes up, and if it is true, it will be applied, even if it is a miracle. Right?
Yes.
Agree on this.
Yes. And speaking about Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu, and I'd like to add something to Professor Afifi regarding time management. Umar radiallahu anhu gave the best example of time management, that the history recorded a great state, a great Islamic state that was built in only 10 years.
Yes. Yes, and because the era of Omar, and this is sorry for Ahmed's interruption, but this for our audience too. Omar ruled for 10 years, 6 months, 10 years, 6 months and 17 days.
Yes. And we just take from this that you are a leader, and you have responsibilities. That if you want to build something and to make something strong, you have. For example, if you are a leader, if you are a manager or an owner of some project, you don't ask for your rights. You have to do your duties at first, and you always ask God to give your rights.
Yes.
So that you have to believe in that you firstly you do your duties, and then you ask from God.
And this is what I see, Ahmed, responsibility. And this, as you said, Mr. Afifi, it's responsibility and time management. And I see that many lessons and competencies and skills that we could learn from Omar that will be already discussed in further episodes from Life Choices, because we will continue with the history of Omar for a long time later. And concerning the idea, and this will be discussed later, not tonight, but just to mention it, concerning women in the time of Omar. Because Ashifa bint Abdullah is the first woman to be or to hold official governmental responsibility was in the time of Omar. First time in history.
Great.
Right? So even women, they had huge share in the time of Omar.
It's a great topic.
Yes. Yeah, great topic. Yes. Sure, concerning them. So unfortunately we came to time at the end of our episode. I would like to thank our expert in human resources, Mr. Ahmed Afifi.
Thank you. Thank you
so
for having me.
Thank you. An honor to have you on the show.
Thank you very much.
So thank you, Mr. Abdullah, to have you on our show.
You.
Pleasure is ours. Thank you, Mr. Ahmed.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to be here with you.
Yeah, thank you. For our audience, thank you for everyone who followed us. And who didn't follow us and missed the show, you can go for YouTube. And you can go for our social media on Facebook. It's Huda TV /Life Choices TV. So, wish to have you enjoyed the episode of tonight. Learn more about Omar, because we are in bad need for Omar. Thank you so much, and see you next week.
Dreams and goals, many mixed emotions in my heart and soul. For some I made a plan and did the best I can. If God wills, things can happen. After all, I'm just a man. Choices, chances, dreams and goals, Many mixed emotions in my heart and soul. For some I made a plan and did the best I can. If God wills, things can happen. After all, I'm just a man.